Wake Up the Box 1 was one of the many now very recognizable Flash games released in 2009 that would eventually spawn a gigantic franchise behind them. Some of those games would go on to cultivate a dedicated speedrunning fanbase as well later on in their lifespan. Red Ball and Fall being the best examples of this. Not Wake Up the Box though. As of this video's release, 12 runs exist on SRC, yet even with only 12 people ever submitting a raw completion of the game to YouTube, this game managed to become really optimized surprisingly. Let's get into how that happened. Here is the world record history of Wake Up the Box. Now, just like Wake Up the Box 3, I searched the internet for raw completions of the game that haven't been documented yet. Here's what I found. There's a run of 541 by Yate performed on May 15th, 2023, a run of 350 by Orange Wombats on February 8th, 2010, a run of 426 by Wookie on April 14th, 2014, and finally a 329 by the game's developer Eugene Karatayev on New Year's Eve of 2009. Out of all of these runs, only Eugene Karatayev ever held the world record since the very beginning with his 329. And now, with that out of the way, we can get into the organized era of the game, beginning with September 27, 2018, when KDisora9 would create a leaderboard for the game, but not submit a run, weirdly enough. The first run to be submitted would be a 926 by Red Baller, followed by a 245 by Sweetenator, followed by a 207 by MikeYouTube1. Now, notice how I say submitted instead of performed? That's because before the board was even created, somebody would destroy Eugene Karatayev by a really big margin and beat all of the previously mentioned times, meaning that Red Baller, Sweetenator, and MikeYouTube never held any world record. As on the 2nd of December 2019, this person would finally submit their record, which they have held ever since February 12th of 2018, 7 months before the leaderboard's creation. This is Wake Up the Box 1 in 157 by 398 Hate, HDG, and GH. 398 managed to completely skip a minute barrier by going from Eugene's 329 all the way to 157. The way he accomplished this is by completing every level as optimally as possible and implementing 4 strategies that helped him save even more time over Eugene. First is this in level 6, where he attaches all objects to the final tiny wood platform thing that builds like a sort of stick upwards, which topples over the last pillar thing, and triggers the big circles to fall into the box, which saves around 6 seconds when performed optimally. In level 8, by attaching every wood piece after the first on top of one another, he managed to swing the box hard enough to the point where it woke up very quickly after only 1 swing, as opposed to the regular 2. In level 10, he started attaching the wood pieces on the left first instead of the right side first, saving 2 seconds, and in level 16, he did this, which saves over 10 seconds. This run was outstanding for its time and would stand for a long time before being beaten. 4 years, in fact. After 398, nobody could even touch him, besides MikeYouTube, who was relatively close, being only 10 seconds apart. Everyone else was far behind 398's level. But in 2022, right in the middle of summer, a new runner by the name of John Paul Jones would, with no prior time submitted, beat 398 by 4 seconds within 153. This run was, by all intents and purposes, just 398's run, except optimized some more. This run would once again stand until someone, once again a new runner, would make their appearance. And that runner was me. Now, there's a ton of stuff to talk about here, but I've already talked about all of this in my Wake Up the Box 3 record history video, so I'll just link that in the outro and not waste 500 years talking about how I got to speedrunning this franchise. Either way, I began trying to inch my way to the record. My first one was a 312, I believe, followed by a 242, followed by a 207, followed by a 157. I was getting really close to beating John Paul Jones, and as I managed to take down everyone else in my path except for 398, who I only managed to tie. Then, after the 157, I managed to tie John Paul Jones to the 153, and then it happened. Once again, nothing new was implemented, except for just more optimization. I had just played the game better than John Paul Jones, which led me to not only set the world record, but also break the last 10-second barrier and wake up the blocks with a 147. Just goes to show how far just optimization alone can push a game. This entire 20 level long game has 4 strategies, 2 of which can only loosely be considered strategies. The heights this game was able to reach was only through optimization and very, very little else. And well, that's it. This is where it ends. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.